everyone, my name is Fisayo and I'm a recipient of the EB1A Extraordinary Ability US Green Card. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what the EB1A is about, my timelines, and what you should be doing if you want to be a recipient of this green card. The EB1A grants permanent residency to aliens of extraordinary ability who can demonstrate that they have sustained a national or international acclaim in their field of expertise. They intend to continue working, and their entry into the United States will substantially benefit the US. The United States grants permanent residency to a few aliens. Aliens are like foreigners, non-US people, who can demonstrate that they have extraordinary ability either in the sciences, in arts, in business, in education, or athletics. Whatever the field is, as far as the individual can demonstrate that they are part of a small number of people who have risen to the very top of their field. The reason why this permanent residency classification is very important is because it doesn't require the individual to have an employer or to even be resident in the United States. For you to demonstrate your extraordinary ability, you need to have sufficient documentation just to provide evidence that you are one of the top people in your field. Now, whatever your field is, like literally I've seen people in fashion, I've seen people in cybersecurity, I've seen people in finance, in different fields demonstrating that they have that they have risen to the top of their field and using different creative ways to be able to demonstrate their extraordinary ability. Now let's move on to the timelines. There are two broad stages for this process. The first is the I-140, which is your petition that has all of your documentation, and I consider that the hardest part, of this entire process. And the second is the adjustment of status. That's if you already have a status in the United States as a US person, whether you are on a J1 visa or you're on F1 visa, whatever kind of visa you are on in the United States. If you're not resident in the United States, you'd have to go through consular processing, which involves going to the embassy and speaking to someone there, which will be like an interview in order for you to get the visa, which will translate to your green card. At the time I submitted my petition, the I-140 cost $700. Now it's a little higher than that. And in fact, I think I'll just drop a link to all of the fees so that I don't say any price, and then when anyone is watching the video they'll just see that it has increased. So I wouldn't be talking about prices. I'm just going to leave the link, and so you can check it. If there's been any updates, you can know what the current fees are. Via normal processing, the I-140 typically takes around 3 months to get a decision. Now, in terms of decision, you either get an approval, a denial, or an RFE. An RFE is a request for evidence, which means that the adjudicating officer has questions about some of the things that's been written down and will be requesting for more evidence or more information to validate the things that have been documented about you. In my case, I paid for premium processing, which cost a little higher. The premium processing route enables you to get a decision in about 15 days. I was able to get a decision in 8 days, and it was an approval. After getting an approval, because I was resident in the United States and I already have a status as a US person, I needed to go through the adjustment of status, which is the I-485. In order to make the submission for the I-485, which is the adjustment of status, I needed to do my medicals. And I'm going to put a link in the description where you can see different hospitals that have been authorized by USCIS to do medicals for intending petitioners. Through that list, I was able to find a medical facility that was close by. I went in there to do my medical. The price for this procedure is not standard. It depends on the medical facility that you go to, and also the timeline for you to receive your results. In my case, I was able to, the hospital called me back in like 4 days to come get my report. It's important to know that when you have that report, you shouldn't open it. It should be sealed. You can ask the officer or the medical personnel to give you another copy that you can just see to know what your result is, but the one that you're going to be submitting with the I-485 should not be opened. I submitted my I-485 along with an application for employment authorization. Technically, I didn't need that. I only just did that because I saw that people were doing it. People were doing the travel parole, application for travel parole. That's if you need to go out of the US while you are adjusting your status. I knew that I just gotten back from a trip and I was not interested in traveling out of the US at least till like Q4 of 2024. So I didn't apply for a travel parole, but I applied for the employment authorization document, which is an EAD. But technically, I didn't need it because I already had a work authorization that wasn't going to expire until 2025. So please, students, take notes. If you already have, if you're on OPT and you have an EAD that doesn't expire until like 1 year, I don't think you have to apply for the EAD. Just straight up apply for your green card. Once my adjustment of status application was received by the USCIS, it took about 2 weeks for them to request for me to come in for biometrics. Now, you typically do the biometrics at a USCIS office, that is close by your area. If you are outside of the United States, like I said earlier, you wouldn't be doing an adjustment of status because you don't already have a status. You'll be going through consular processing. The process is different in the sense that you go to a designated place to do your biometrics and visit the embassy to get your visa. So after I went in for my biometrics, the waiting game began. From the time when my application was received by the USCIS, it took about 2 months and 1 week to get my EAD approved, and it took 2 months and 3.5 weeks to get my green card approved. So technically, it took like 3 months, right? 3 months from when my submission was made to when I received my green card in the mail. So I received my green card about a week and a half after I received my EAD. So that's why I said, I didn't actually need the EAD. Now, the next question is, how can I demonstrate that I have extraordinary ability? Because that term, it's kind of subjective, right? How can you just say like, oh, I have extraordinary ability? There are 10 criteria that has been listed by the USCIS. I'm going to put it in the description. And if you want us to discuss on an individual basis, you want me to assess your profile, and you want me to prefer personalized feedback on what you should be doing or what you have done in the past that can be used as evidence to demonstrate your extraordinary ability, please be sure to book time on my calendar. The link is in the description. I'm starting an accountability group for serious-minded EB1A petitioners who are very determined and willing to write their petition in a period of 7 weeks. I shared in my previous video that I wrote my petition in 3 weeks and I wasn't even writing every day. So it's very possible. I know that the biggest struggle that I had was being accountable to somebody who was also writing this and just seeking guidance, having somebody that I could bounce off ideas with. And if you want to join, please click the link in the description to join the accountability group. You'd have weekly milestones for things you should achieve every week, and you have access to other serious-minded petitioners who are also writing and are very, very determined to turn in their petition before the end of October 2024. I know it's still very possible for you to get your green card at the end of this year. It's still very possible. So please share this information with anyone and everyone that you think will find this useful. See you in my next video. Bye.